to the Business Blueprint Podcast, where we take you on an exciting adventure through our triumphs and challenges and failures in creating and maintaining a thriving 6, 7, and 8-figure business. Get ready to dive into our strategies, decisions, and yes, even valuable lessons we've learned from our missteps. But that's not all. We'll also bring you industry-leading guests who will provide you with their priceless insights and wisdom. Stay tuned because the captivating journey of the Business Blueprint begins right now. Hi, I'm Charles Hatley, and this is the Business Blueprint, where each week we come together and we talk about things that are going on in our business as we continue to grow from an 8 to 9 to 10-figure firm. So today I'm joined by Rebecca Malone and Dan Cuneo, and I want to talk about something that it's a hard concept for me to grasp personally. I know there's other people that are a lot more intelligent that can grasp it quickly, but it's the idea of buying my time back. And what I mean by that is as you jump in and you're working in your business, sometimes you get so drawn down by the minutia of your business that you start doing things that are that somebody else could help you do for a lot less money, right? Somebody could answer the phone for you. Somebody could help you set your calendar. And by taking those things off of your plate, you would be able to focus on the growth of your business. Rebecca, I wanted to talk to you. When was the first time that you had to accept that you couldn't do it all?
Oh, I mean, that came with the very first employee. And so that, oddly enough, was a big mental hurdle. And looking back, it doesn't feel like it should have been, but it definitely was. Feeling like you're taking on responsibility for another person and their career, and I have to give them a paycheck and benefits and an office, and like, oh my God, how do we even do this? But really, it was looking at where is my time going now, and what is sort of the biggest time suck or the biggest like energy waste that is going on. And it was a lot of the administrative stuff. So just dealing with scanning in documents and sending out mail and doing faxing, like all of those little things were just eating away at time when I felt like we could have been bringing in new clients or working on their cases at obviously attorney hourly rates. And doing business development, there's just a lot of other things that you can do that are going to grow your business aside from sitting there and, sending out mail or answering phones or doing all those other things that you have to do. Still a big mental hurdle, but that was the first. Once we went through that experience of, oh my gosh, I like the light switched on in my brain and now I have so much more time available. It made it so much easier to just keep adding to the team. But more recently, I would say you have to kind of break it back down and say, where's all my time going? And kind of keep doing that exercise over and over and over again to figure out where do I need help? What's getting put to the back burner that shouldn't be? And what's the biggest sort of waste of my energy and time at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's like a continual thing. It's not one and done.
No, and I'm jealous that the light bulb went off for you on the first employee. The light bulb still is flickering for me at best. It's like an old filament style light bulb, maybe not working too well. For me, it was not looking at the lower task. I know a lot of people say, you go to your highest and best use of your time. For me, it was what can I easily train and work with a team member to do? What can I teach somebody the easiest? So, I started there. That was the easiest thing for me, right? I went the path of least resistance. But, this isn't just for business owners. Dan, you and Rebecca and I have conversations constantly about people that we are trying to pull up. They're letting themselves get pulled back down into the weeds. Can you explain to us how anybody at any level needs to concentrate on buying the time that they need in order to concentrate on the things that are best suited for their position?
Sure. Those are always tough discussions because even today I still have problems with that. But it's, how I explain it to the leaders that work with me is I want you to work on your team, not in your team. Kind of we want you to work on your business, not in your business, but your absolutely correct in the fact that it's not just for an owner of a company, it's for someone leading a team. In order to work on the team, that means we want you to be able to guide the team and to be able to move the team forward, which will help the company grow. But if you're just kind of stuck down in the weeds, it's not only preventing that from happening, but it's also preventing you able to grow. And I've had to have some direct conversations in the sense to where you're talking about that light bulb going off. Well, I've got a couple years where I literally just had to shove out of the weeds because it's like, all right, I get you still are stuck in here. Sometimes it's hard to get out, but we need you out because if you want to grow, the only way that you're going to grow is to get out of the weeds because you're really doing yourself a disservice, but you're also doing your team a disservice because now you're holding yourself back, you're holding others back. And then even more important, you're holding the company back because we can't grow without taking advantage of that knowledge that you have and the ability that you can be able to lead that team to success. And it's there's a couple exercises that I've done and that I'm having our leaders do. And when we talked about in our last MH training for our up and coming leaders is, first identify what are some of your rocks and boulders. And that can be basically what are the big things that are preventing you from doing your job and what are those little things. And then that kind of allows you to start thinking, okay, what can I do to resolve those? But it's getting the help from everyone else. And then as you're discussing this, you realize I do need a lot of help. So I need to hire, I need to bring up some more people. And then what Rebecca was saying is, we don't want to spend all of our time on this. And I was talking with Cameron Harold probably a month or two ago, and he and I were just kind of talking back and forth on certain jobs to hire for and what does that look like. And it's, whatever your hourly rate is, right? So my hourly rate is X. Am I really going to pay somebody that to do what Rebecca was saying, scanning or opening the mail? No, it doesn't make any sense, at least from a business perspective. So why not hire somebody to do that? So the best use of your time is doing something else a little bit more high level. One of the other exercises I'm having some team members do is write down on the left side the things that they love to do, and on the right side of a sheet of paper, things that they don't like to do. And the goal is to get them to focus on the things that they love to do, and the things that they don't like to do, maybe someone else loves to do those things. And then it's just trying to find the people who can be successful in those roles. But it's just really utilizing the best use of time. And it's not saying that these lower level jobs aren't good use of time, because we all play the same role in making sure that a company is successful. And one of the things I love about our own internal meetings is we always say before every meeting, a reminder, check your egos and titles at the door, because we all have that same goal in mind, which is to move the company forward in a positive direction and to attain whatever goal it is that your company has. But we need to collaborate. And in order to encourage that, we have to work on our team, not in our team. And it's really just making sure that we're developing people underneath us too, because every one of us should want to continue to learn. And the best way to do that is just to challenge one another. And that's, I think, the hardest thing for leaders is to be able to challenge one another and to really encourage open discussion as far as what does that look like.
It is. And, we were talking about a meeting we were having, and sometimes, we have a group mentor meeting for our new managers, which I think is a phenomenal idea. And, the idea of the meeting is we want the leaders in our organization to aggressively and respectfully challenge each other. Aggressively, because you don't need to back down, but respectfully, because we're all on the same team. And so in the meeting, something came up, and one of the team members was challenging another team member, and I think most of the people walked away saying, "Hey, that was really good." One person walked away saying, "Ooh, that was really weird." And so, when you're working with people and you're thinking about bringing people up, Dan, how do you make sure that they understand that aggression that is respectful is good, and that aggression that is disrespectful needs to be changed?
And that's a good question because, and I can just speak personally, and I was talking to someone, they thought, oh, well, I just need to challenge everything and be aggressive. And that's what you want. And I'm glad that this person did it, because it was an opportunity that I could show, well, I appreciate you challenging, but we need to do it more respectful. And in the situation that you were describing, that conflict was great because it was an opportunity for everyone to see different levels of a team member challenging one another and in a respectful environment. And that's why just checking egos and titles at the door in every meeting is so good, because it encourages that open discussion. But for the one that was kind of questioning it, and these are tough discussions that we as leaders have to have, because maybe you think someone's ready for a role and they're not. But the benefit of providing these types of training opportunities is to flesh out, is someone ready for this role? Maybe that person may come to the conclusion, oh, maybe this isn't for me, or we may come to the conclusion. It's just giving an opportunity to each person to see, what does this role look like and what do we need to do to be successful in it. But success is always challenging. I remember in a company I was with before, to where we would always say, if all of us agree on everything all the time, then there's really no need for all of us, because it just doesn't make any sense. That's what I encourage the individual or my team that I lead. When I say I want you to challenge me, just because I have an idea doesn't mean it's the best idea. 9 out of 10, you're going to think of something that's a lot better, and that's what I want to hear. Or we can come together and figure out, okay, well, the best interest of the company is to do this. We all want to move the company forward, but I don't always have the answer to it. But that's why I want others to challenge me, because I'm usually maybe not thinking of something, and someone else has a much better way to do it. And to be able to feel secure and comfortable, that's where we want the aggression to be. And the aggression is a positive. It's, you want to champion something that you believe in, and you want to have the ability to voice your concern. But at the end of the day, a decision has to be made. And that's something that we always discuss as well. Is even when the three of us have meetings, we always don't agree on everything. But at the end, it's okay, this is the decision. We move forward and we support it and we encourage it. And that's where I think it gets tough and challenging for up and coming leaders. They may say, oh, well, I don't agree with that. And they're trying to be friends with their teammates, or they're just not wanting to be caught in the middle and say, well, this wasn't my idea. This was management's idea, or, this was corporate's idea. And it's, well, that's not a good manager, because we have to support the mission. And in order to support the mission, we have to be on board, because at the end of the day, that is the goal. That is the mission. And that it's through this training, it's our opportunity to flush out who may not be the best person to help us succeed in our mission.
Exactly. And the reason that I wanted to talk about training was because as we're thinking about moving up to the best use of our particular time in our role, we have to invest time in the people that are going to be taking over the things that we were doing. And if we don't invest that time, what we're going to end up doing is spending twice as much time now trying to do something up here, and trying to come over here and help with this, and trying to go back here and replace this piece. So, Rebecca, was it natural for you to understand that the training was an investment in the time? Or was it more natural to say, look, I hired you, I talked to you for 20 minutes during onboarding, I told you what you needed to do, you have a job description that ChatGPT wrote, what more do you want from me?
I definitely think it's easier to do the second one, but long term, you're not looking at a very productive employee that's going to make all the difference that they need to make. As Dan was talking, I was thinking about, I just finished John Maxwell's, is it the 10 Laws of Leadership? Something like that. But he really talks about, he focuses on mentoring one or two people at a time. He can't mentor 100 people in his company. So he focuses on his top two people, and then they can focus on their top two people, and then they can focus on their top two people. And that's how it all makes its way through his organization. And I love that. And that was also a little bit of a light bulb moment for me, because we want to all come together as a group and do this group training. And we do want to give everybody attention, and we do want to give everybody time. But I needed to designate, okay, this is going to be the person I'm focusing on. And then they can focus on the next leader within their team. And I can focus my time over here on this other person, and then they can focus on leading their team. I don't need to focus on 10 people at the same time, and not everybody is getting enough attention to really make a difference. We can pick out the top two and then let it work its way through the organization from there. I love that way of thinking about it, because it just gets so overwhelming when you're like, I have 20 leaders I need to bring up in my organization. Having the structured meetings is great, but it's not the same as that one-to-one.
Hi, this is Dan Cuneo with the Business Blueprint. Thank you for taking time to listen to this week's podcast. Please join us next week for part 2.